So this is my hand. Instead of using bones to demonstrate movement, I would rather use something that can produce the movement, matter of fact. So we're talking about a radiocarpal joint, which is approximately at the disc level. And if we utilize just one of the two axes, which I wanted us to see as concavity versus convexity running from front to back on both proximal row of carpals as well as on the distal radius, then the type of movement that a wrist can perform is easily understood as radiocarpal joint flexion and radiocarpal joint extension. If I place my hand in a different position, such as like this, then moving it across the flat surface obviously demonstrates the other axis of movement where the hand deviates towards ulnar side, which could be seen also as equivalent of adduction, or the hand will be swinging in the direction of radius, radial deviation, or abduction. If you want to see it, let me try to demonstrate this again using the bones. So let's place first the skeleton of the hand, and we will add the distal radius. So this is the joint, and majority of the contact is established between distal radius and scaphoid bone, but also we should not forget lunate bone, which is also in a direct contact with the radius. So movement will be flexion and extension, and of course abduction and adduction. Since those two axes cannot be combined, we are unable to say that there is a movement such as circumduction or rotation, which happens at the wrist joint. But anyways, this was a good example of a biaxial joint, which tolerates and quite clearly demonstrates both axes of movement. So caught on camera is my right hand, and the joint that we're talking about, a saddle joint between trapezium and the base of the first metacarpal bone, is here. So it's not part of the wrist. It is practically part of the hand, and one can see also that in a relaxed position of the hand, the thumb is not in a perfect line with other four digits. Thumb appears to be moved a little bit into the space of the palm, and if we just take a look and compare position of a nail, you can see here that the nail of my thumb points upwards, whereas other four digits and nails are pointing practically in the opposite direction. So we can now demonstrate what extension and flexion at the saddle joint looks like. When I flex the thumb, basically it is the first metacarpal bone which appears to be going more into direction of palm. So seeing it from a different direction, from a different perspective, this is my hand being fully relaxed, and now this is when I produce the flexion, which moves the first metacarpal bone into direction of palm. When I do the opposite movement, it is extension, but the position of my thumb relative to other four digits did not really change a lot. It was movement of the first metacarpal bone forcing the thumb to actually get some kind of recess within the palm. Alright, so back to this position. If I'm to move the thumb further away, as I'm doing now, or closer to other fingers, this is what the second axis of the saddle joint will enable me to do. When the thumb goes this way, it has been abducted, and when it goes this way, it is adducted. Seeing it from a different direction, again, neutral position of the hand is here. Thumb points towards camera, that is abduction, and the thumb goes away, it is adduction. Many people will ask then, what is the opposition that humans are so well known of? Basically, the opposition is when we combine the movement between two different axes. In order to properly oppose the thumb, I would have to do first this, to abduct it, to take it away from other fingers, and then while allowing flexion to push the first metacarpal bone into the palm, so practically now my thumb lies across the palm in its full opposition. In order to reoppose it, I would need to do a reversal of this movement. First, I would need to extend the first metacarpal bone, taking it out of palm. Of course, I will extend the thumb as well, and then to bring it closer to perform a little bit of adduction.